What's going on, guys? Hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving and you got to spend it with your families. I know I had a really nice time spending it with my parents, and the last video that I posted was about a week ago. Okay, anyways, and today's video we're gonna go over what I consider to be one of the most difficult steps in applying to PA school, and that's finding PAs to shadow and eventually asking a PA for a letter of rec. Here we go. Alright, so you're interested in becoming a PA and you're starting to get healthcare hours, you're starting to take the prerequisites, but an important step that is required by a lot of schools is shadowing. In terms of applying, shadowing is really important because almost every school requires some type of PA observation / shadowing hours and experience, and although they don't necessarily, some schools might not necessarily have it down as a prerequisite to apply, it's really highly recommended and looks kind of bad if you don't have any PA shadowing hours. I've heard some stories of students getting in without any PA shadowing hours, but you definitely have to have pretty compelling aspects of your application to stand out. And I think a lot of students applying to PA school do have shadowing hours with PAs. So one way that you can find PA shadowing is through your school. If your school has a faculty directory and your school has an affiliated hospital where PAs work, you may be able to find PA contact information through that directory. For my school, UCSD, there was a faculty directory, and basically I looked up all the PAs that worked for UCSD and I contacted every single one of them. And that was close to about 50 to 60 PAs that I contacted by finding them through this faculty directory. And each email was catered specific to the field and what specialty they were working in. So it was a little bit personalized, but the bulk of the email was generally the same. So that's a great resource to utilize if your school does have a faculty directory and you can find PA contact information. A second way that you can go about with your school is if there's a pre-PA organization on campus or a club on campus that you can join, they usually have some type of relationship with PAs working in the area, and if you go to enough events and activities, then you can maybe sign up to be part of the shadowing program if that club has a shadowing program. From my knowledge, I know a good amount of pre-PA organizations and clubs have some type of relationship with working PAs to be able to offer students and members of their club shadowing opportunities. So another way that you can find PAs to shadow is just looking up local hospitals and private clinics in your area and either looking on their websites or calling them and figuring out if they do have a PA that works in their system and if there's any opportunities available. Cold calling, offices and clinics is always hard and takes initiative, but I guarantee you that it's worth it and you'll get your fair share of people not answering and people not getting back to you. For my experience, in terms of all the PAs that I contacted, I think I contacted probably close to 80. I got maybe 10 responses back and 2 that actually allowed me to shadow. So that's 2 out of 80 that I contacted. It's gonna be a little bit tough to swallow, but once you do find that one PA that will allow you to shadow, that'll open doors for you. Another way that you can find shadowing is if you have some type of relationship with your family doctor or your primary care physician, they usually know some PAs that they work with or are affiliated with and can get your foot in the door with getting their contact information for you. Even if you don't have a strong relationship with your primary care doctor, it doesn't hurt to contact them and just ask. In terms of finding PA shadowing, the biggest step that you can take and the most important thing that you can do is putting yourself out there and taking these little steps, finding local hospitals, private clinics, and just doing your best to give yourself the best opportunity to have these shadowing opportunities. So what I did in my approach, I tried to email as much as I could before I started to call private clinics and local hospitals. I think emailing is great because you can, express your interest, but also you can attach your resume or CV so that PA can look over the type of student that you are and, give them a little bit more information about yourself. If emailing doesn't work, I definitely recommend calling different places to find a PA to shadow. Again, it's tough because PAs are working throughout the day. It's gonna be harder to get in contact with them directly, but you may be able to leave some voicemails and hopefully they get back to you. Another great step or another way to find shadowing opportunities is by volunteering. And a lot of my friends found physician and PAs to shadows through their volunteer opportunities. Something that I thought wasn't important in college was networking, and networking with healthcare professionals. And it really does open doors for you and does give you the best opportunity to, find a PA to shadow. Like I mentioned earlier, finding a PA to shadow was probably the hardest thing for me in terms of getting my application together. Once you build that relationship with the PA, if you feel comfortable enough, you can ask that PA for a letter of recommendation. Make sure that they're willing to write you a strong one. It's really important that they will write you a strong one, not just any letter. And usually when you shadow, you have downtime to get to know the PA, and the PA will ask you questions as well. All the PAs that I've gotten to know, they want to give back to pre-PA students. So ask as many questions as you have. If you have a question about, being a PA, feel free to ask them. They'll be happy to answer it for you. Like I said, it's all about networking. And, going into medical school and PA school and nursing school, you do require some type of relationship with working medical professionals. So definitely get a head start on that. And something that I wish I did when I was in college was shadow PAs more. I definitely wish I had a longer relationship with the PAs that I shadowed. I got to know them very well, and we spent a good amount of time with each other. But you want to get started when you're young, so you really know that this is what you want to do, and you really get the whole experience of what a PA does and what their lifestyle is like, and if it is something that you want. Alright, and it's also really important to consider that when you're applying to PA school, most schools require you to have a letter of recommendation from a PA. A lot of students get their PA letter of recommendations through their shadowing opportunities, through the PAs that they shadow. I'm trying to make a really important point that you should definitely get a head start in finding PAs to shadow, because it was the hardest aspect for me, and I don't want you guys to be frantically looking for PAs to shadow. There are some PAs that offer shadowing for a cost, for a fee, and I don't recommend you doing that unless you're really desperate, you're starting to apply and you don't have a letter of rec from a PA and you have no shadowing hours. Then maybe I would consider it. But if a PA charges you money to shadow them, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I moved to New York and I was looking for different shadowing opportunities here, and a PA here offered to let me shadow him for, I think it was $500 for however many sessions. Although you have kind of an unlimited amount of hours that you can shadow, I really don't recommend it, because your application is already expensive enough. You don't want to have to pay to shadow, and there's a number of PAs that will let you shadow them for free, and that's kind of how it works. Once we become PAs, we should offer that same shadowing experience to pre-PA students and not charge them, because PAs that I've shadowed, they never, there's no way that they paid the PAs that they shadowed to get experience. So it's kind of like paying it forward, and again, you find out that a PA does charge just for shadowing. I don't recommend it, and you should definitely look other places. And yeah, alright, I'm gonna try to post videos once a week, and make sure I don't slack on that. Comment on my videos if I haven't posted in a while. Make sure to like this video if it helped you at all. Don't forget to be like my blood type, be positive. Christmas is less than 30 days away, so I'm excited. Have a great one. Peace.